Well, it looks like the rat-faced git is at it again. This time, no more Soviet watches. Feeling kind of bored right now, so I wanted to tinker with something. The only Chinese movement I have, and the Meister Art military aviator, I guess you call it, and it says Germany on the bottom. Yeah, not so much. This is a Chinese movement. ST-36, I believe it is. The thing's huge. It's got a huge dial. It's a big watch. I'm sure everybody has seen it. They retail for 300, I think, which is a little crazy for a Chinese piece. But what do I know? I paid $50 for this brand new. It was part of the deal to get a Soviet watch, one that I wanted for a while. And it has a display case, the display back. I already have that off, took that off. What I'm going to do here is show you how to disassemble this guy and put it back together. It doesn't need a service. It's basically brand new. It's running good. I'm just going to take it apart and show you how to do that. And one thing that's unique about this, it looks like a weapon actually, is look at that regulator arm on that balance assembly. That thing's like a dagger. It's huge. Starts here, goes all the way down to here to the balance. It's like a weapon. If you ever get mugged at night and you're wearing this watch, just break it open and use that as a weapon. I'm just kidding around. It's got some decoration on it, some engraving, and this thing keeps outstanding time. When it's regulated, boy does it run good. It's accurate, I'll tell you that, and it's a robust movement. Very robust from what I've seen so far. I've only had it on my wrist a few times. It is very big. It's a very big watch, but it looks cool. For $50, yeah, I'll pick one up. Alright, first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to let down that mainspring because it is wound up, and I'm going to hold on to the stem and wind it a bit to move our click over and slowly let it unwind. I don't have it wound up that much. There you go. That's all done. And that balance is coasting to a stop. The first thing I want to do, there are two screws approximately 180 degrees apart from each other. There's one right here. We're going to loosen that for now, not take it out. We're going to come around here. There's the other one. That one we're going to loosen and take out. I like to do things in steps. And that has a little keeper on it. There it is, right there. The screw fell in here. Okay, let's get that out. Look at that. See where that screw ended up? Right in the hole of something. There it is. Popped it out. There's our screw. Come around and remove the next one. My specialty, expertise, I don't even know if you want to even call it that, because I'm certainly not an expert. I just like to tinker. I like Soviet and Russian movements, and being a former machinist, welder, fabricator, I know how things are made, quality, stuff like that. I'm not very familiar with Chinese movements at all, so this would be the Gull ST-36, I believe. Okay, we got those two out. Let's go to that crown. If you notice this screw right here, it's a little tiny screw. When I pull the crown, that screw moves. That's part of the keyless works and the time setting and winding mechanism. We are going to loosen that. Some movements have a push button. You just push on that and pull the stem out. This one actually, you have to loosen that screw. Let's see, let's go one turn, and see what happens. Look at that. One full turn, stem comes out. Pretty straightforward stuff. Now, where's my movement holder? I gotta fetch my movement holder here, people. Okay. With the stem out and those two keepers and screw removed, you flip this over and out comes the movement. Here's the case separated from the movement. Let's get a closer look at some things here. Okay, let's get the glasses on. Apparently this has a ring. Let's see if we can show that ring. Right there. That ring just comes right off. Has a relief for the stem. And speaking of that, we're going to put that stem back in now, because we're going to need to move those hands. So we inserted our stem, and we're going to tighten that screw. One turn. Now it's back in. So let's do this. We're going to move our hands, adjust our hands so they can be, let's go right around there so they're straight across. We're going to mount this up in a movement holder. Big movement, huge. I'm just looking to make sure things are captured in that movement holder correctly. And we have hand removers. Okay, where's my little protector? It was over here. This standard hand remover type jaws that grip onto that and pull those hands off. I've never done one of these before. I'm just kind of winging this as I go, and I figured, how hard can it be? It's just a basic movement. Of course, the camera is way too tight. Let's bring that out. Alright, let's get that off. Okay, there's a hand. Minute hand, hour hand, second hand located down here at 6 o'clock position. Let's see. Can I get under it? It looked like it had enough clearance. But maybe not. These little second hands down here might require a little prying with a screwdriver. They're not pressed on that tight. Just give it a nudge and off it comes. It's in the shot. It's in the shot. Okay. There's the second hand. Looking at this dial close up, the printing is nice, the loom is nice. Looks pretty decent. Not bad at all. Okay. Next, we're going to get that dial off. There should be, I don't even know how it's attached. How are we going to find out? Dial feet screwed down? Might be. Let's look around for any screws indicating that there's a dial foot on this movement. I don't see anything, although I do have, and I don't know if this is correct, there's a recessed screw right there. Right there, this guy. There's one here, and there's one directly across from it, 180 degrees out. Is that part of, right over here. There you go. Is that part of what holds that dial in? I don't know. There's one way to find out. So, I have a plastic movement holder, because we're going to put this dial down onto a plastic movement holder instead of the metal. That'll protect the finish on that dial. Okay, let's come around here, give you a shot. First thing, come back in tighter now. A little more. Let's take that balance jewel out, and then I'm going to take the balance assembly out. Where's my, here it is. I got a heavy duty oiler, and I like to use, I'm going to hold on to it. I'm not sure how this one works. I don't know if it's a hinge or if it fits in there into a groove. There's one, there's two. Looks like a hinged type system, although I wouldn't trust it just because I'm not familiar with these. There's our jewel and top capstone. Put that over there. And we're going to close that up. Oh boy, look at that. Popped right out. So it's kind of a hinge. Kind of a hinge, kind of a slide in. We're going to leave it out because I don't want to lose it. Okay, let's take that balance off. If anybody serviced a watch before, it's a pretty basic system to disassemble. Comes apart nice and easily. Out comes our hairspring. There we go. Turned over, kind of resting there with that dagger of a regulator arm. I kind of like it. At first I was like, yikes, that thing's hideous. But when it comes to regulating, it's very sensitive. Extremely sensitive. You get more sensitivity from that long arm than you would from a short one. So I kind of grown to like it. Okay, we are going to take out the pallet fork bridge, 2 screws. Where's my good tweezers? There they are. There's one. There's 2. We're not going to lubricate this or change anything. We're just taking it apart. Why? Because I can. And I'm kind of bored right now. And somebody may want to see this. Somebody may not. Okay. Pallet fork. Comes right out. There's our drivetrain, our main train, and just nudging that winding stem gets that escape wheel spinning nicely. Like I said, it's pretty good, robust movement. Let's move on to the mainspring ratchet wheel. Would you call it that? You might. I don't know. Let's take the obvious screw off and see what happens. Okay. Look at that. See those top screws? Those three? 1, 2, 3. I don't think they do anything. They're decorative. Because they don't screw anything together. They are just decorative. I kind of figured that. Why would you have something in the center and something outside? Now these three, they are probably not decorative. That is our part of our winding system. Right there. Those are just 3 regular screws. There's one. That one took off, but that's okay. Very tiny screws. Only about 2 or 3 threads on those screws. Be careful with them. They're tiny little buggers. They seem to be a little loose fitting. I wouldn't call this a high precision made timepiece, but it's robust. It's got some big parts. Keeps excellent time. I'm impressed. For the uneducated, they would think it is a German timepiece. Okay, those 3 are off. And there's our part of our winding system. What's that called? Winding crown? I don't know. Could be. Now, let's get this dial off. And I think my suspicions were correct. We have, in this location, a screw and a pin. And if I remember, there were, let's see, I worked on a Swiss chrono one time and they were wedged. Those screws were wedged into the dial feet. Whether or not these are the type, because it doesn't really unscrew. I just think I don't know. Tell you what, let's take this bridge off. It's a massive bridge. That'll expose a lot going on. Let's do that. There's 1, there's 2. Yeah, I picked this up because there was a guy selling a Soviet era chronograph, and he wasn't able to sell it because it was just too expensive. He wanted way too much money for the opening bid. Nobody bid on it. And nobody bid on this one. This was brand new, basically, for I think $200 or $150. I forget. And he was trying to tell people that it was in fact German. And I pointed out to him that no, that is Chinese. You're not going to get somebody to buy something that you think is German, and they're going to think, wow, it must be. If he says it is and it's printed on there, it must be. Okay, look at that bridge. That bridge is huge. Big, massive chunk of metal. Take that out. Let's get these gears out of here, if we can. Actually, let's take that mainspring out. That mainspring is very large too. This thing runs forever on a wind. It'll just go and go and go. That's not coming out because it's connected to the cannon pinion, I believe. Alright, let's take out the escape wheel. This is probably first, second, third wheel. I don't know. I don't know what stuff's called. I just know how to take them apart. Let's take that out. And that one, I don't think this is going to come out. Okay, now we have some areas exposed. And we can get a better look at our dial feet. I'm going to take that one and turn it there, and turn the other one just like it, and see what happens with this. This is all new to me, so I don't know. Do we have more than two? I doubt it. Somebody put this together, so it must be able to come apart. Don't see anything else. Okay. That dial foot is loose. That dial foot is loose. You can see it's got a little wiggle there. But there is something else keeping this in place. And I don't know what it is. Can't imagine they glued that on. That just wouldn't make sense. Why would you glue something on? Because you're going to have to take it off to service it eventually. Or maybe not. Here's our keyless works. Unless we need to lean on this a little more. Well, I'm leaning on that pretty good. Okay. I got nothing. I got nothing on how this is coming apart. So let's end this part now. And I'm going to figure this out so I'm not wasting too much time here. But here is our part disassembled so far. It's got some nice jeweling marks there. So, my next one will show how this comes apart. Alright, we'll see you next time.